The most important automotive memory that I have is I think I was about 8 years old, and my dad had bought a '69 Camaro, and we went to retrieve it out of a field with my cousin CJ5. Drug it home on a rope, and I think that's when I got bit and had the lifelong attraction, addiction, whatever you want to call it, to this industry, this way of life, so to speak. My name's Jason Hall, originally from Salt Lake City, Utah. Moved to St. George about 26 years ago. I have been around Speedtech for probably a total of about 7 years now. Didn't start out as an employee, just started out basically driving the first truck that we had purchased, or I should say that Speedtech had purchased. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I ended up taking vacation from my real job and driving the truck all over the country, and before you knew it, we had decided kind of collectively, Blake and Roger and I, that I basically needed to do this full time for them. So pretty easy job interview, I'd say. The most comical thing, or actually the most comical person, is Nick. One of our sponsored drivers, Nick.
Hi, my name is Nick Relampagos, and this is my car.
And Efren Diaz kind of have a running, and also Chad Riker. They're all kind of in this forever running bit of competition where they're trading dollars, and you know, if you watch them on social media, they're making stabs at each other constantly. You know, Nick recently took pictures because he had won the event, and he took pictures of most of the cars on the trailer. And it was like this subtle way of, you know, him telling everybody that he'd put the car on the trailer, basically. Really funny dude. And Alan Miller as well. There's always some sort of side joke thing going on, and we've all kind of become friends enough that it does, probably from the outside looking in, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to us, and it's hilarious. So today I'm in Columbus, Ohio, supporting customers, basically presenting our product once again to kind of a larger audience than we're used to. So we kind of strategically go to certain events that are targeted to our market, that some of these people wouldn't normally see us, hear from us otherwise. So, and then we have a lot of customers everywhere, so it's nice when we show up at the big rig and we get to get some of that relationship, customer support stuff, get to meet the guys, get to see the builds as they're being finished and being tracked, that sort of thing. My favorite car project has to be, by no other reason other than that's the one I need to finish right now, would be my Nova. I'm doing a 72 Nova with the Speedtech front to rear extreme and torque arm. I met Blake for the first time right after they had moved to St. George, and the drag racing scene was kind of dying there. The guy that was putting them on just couldn't carry the weight of it anymore. It was a full-time job, really, and we're all trying to do it as a hobby, and so it was pretty overwhelming. So he had gathered a group of people in a firehouse in Dameron Valley to try to basically come up with a board of directors to keep it going, to get enough manpower to keep it going, and Blake was there. So they contacted Blake because of the brand new speed shop in St. George, and really tried to get some of that stuff, those relationships built. And I first met him there. I first saw him at I was one of the guys putting on the drag racing events, and he showed up at one of our drag racing events with the old Speedtech Nova, and it was just a car that didn't belong, that hadn't been around that area. It was definitely different, and Blake was definitely different. And that's the first time I'd actually seen him, seen the car, etc. But over the few years of trying to do the drag racing thing, it just sort of morphed into the drive a truck for me, we're gonna go to Oregon, you want to drive a truck back kind of stuff, and then it went from there. The glue that holds us all together is probably always going to be the generic excuse of the car. We surround ourselves in making them faster, better, lighter, whatever the excuse is to progress you into that project, right? That's always going to be the hitch pin, so to speak. But as you go along, and I lean on Nick a lot just because I've been around his family, I've been to his home, his wife is an amazing woman, his kids are awesome, and I've experienced all that through Speedtech in a roundabout way because of the car. but he's like a genuine good dude. He's a genuinely good guy. He's family oriented. He's built his kids' cars. His kids have helped him build things. He's building his wife's car. She jumps in. Watching that happen and watching them experience that it's incredible. It's 100% a family affair, and the sacrifice and the endless hours of travel and all those things, you know, and to see him compete with Efren and all those other guys, and there's a real brotherhood there. There's a real camaraderie. And so in that instance, the car kind of gets shadowed by that experience, but it's always going to be the car that brought us there, right? Or, you know, the idea of, anyways. You can see the shared knowledge from the shared experience of actually being tactile with the car. So Alan Miller, Nick Relampagos, I probably said it wrong, Nick, so don't worry about it. The Smitties, they build their own stuff, start to finish. And if they don't know how to do something in the beginning, by the time they're done, they do know. And they're always bouncing that stuff off of each other as well. So there is a big difference between, you know, I just got my new car loan and my brand new Corvette's faster than your 70 whatever Camaro, but there's that tactile, visceral, hands-on. The car at some level takes a life on it, takes on a soul. It becomes, I don't know if I would go as far as say it's like one of your kids or whatever, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. There's an emotional attachment to that thing because you did that, right? You did that. And it's the whole built not bought kind of, you know, thought. It's pretty important. And all those guys share war stories. They all talk to each other for 150 years over the next project and all those things. So yeah, for sure. At first, I'm a gearhead, so the cars were the attraction. But now that I've been around the block a few times with these guys and met the customers and watched the product in action, watched the customers use the product, some of these home-built cars and stuff, it really has now become the people. It really has become about the people. We aren't, in my mind, we're no longer really selling components and bits and pieces. It's basically an experience of a relationship.